Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBASE.com. Welcome to our weekly CO2 review. Today we're going to be analyzing the 23rd Commitments of Traders Report of 2024. And as we always do, we shall start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials net positions. So that's net positions. And we are of course analyzing the legacy CO2 report type. We call it classic CO2 report type. Of course, if anybody interested in more newer CO2 report types, the disaggregated traders and financial futures or the commodity index traders report type is also available at COTBASE.com. Also, we analyze multiple data types. In the review, we're looking at the futures and options combined. But if you want, you can actually focus your attention on futures or options only data type as well. Let's get started. We have the crude oil, the Brent crude oil, on top of our list of the 35% change in commercials net positions. You can see that over there. I wouldn't necessarily consider that to be a very good COT change signal. Price actually has moved higher. We're in a kind of a downtrend over there. And if you look back in time, you can see that these larger change signals don't necessarily give us too much of a help. If we switch over to a 5-year chart, you can see there's not really an extreme to talk about. If anything, it's leaning to the bearish side of the market right now. And if that's the case, when you look at a market and the signals are not too clear or fuzzy a little bit, and it's not an all-time COT extreme, just boom, there's the top or the bottom in the net positions, and you can see the correlation with the price, then I think it's not a bad idea to use alternative tools as well. And at COTBASE.com, we actually offer you the iCOT Intraday Indicator. This indicator, we have two versions: the basic showing only signals, but the AfterSignal actually filtering those signals and giving you some hints on when to enter and exit the market. So this is the iCOT Intraday Indicator. It's something we developed after multiple years of research, and you can see this is a gold 1-minute candlestick chart, bringing COT analysis into the shorter time frames. And you know what? Sometimes it works even better on longer term charts as well. Especially when there's, let's say, a period of time when CFTC does not issue these reports. It can come in handy. And what I thought, I'm just going to bring up the crude oil chart here, light crude oil futures to be specific, and give you some understanding of how you can use this indicator and why it's so beneficial. So this is this iCOT scores charts. It's something mimicking those charts we used to in classic COT analysis, helping us understand extremes in the market. But of course, this is on a much shorter time frame. This is a 4-hour candlestick chart on crude oil. And we're going to switch these. One thing I like to do, the default setting is usually good, but if you want to see a little bit more, you can switch the signal type to any long and any short. One of the indicators is going to be focusing its attention on opportunities on the short side, the other one on opportunities on the long side of the market. So that's the crude oil. That's a 4-hour candlestick chart. You can see this stripe signal, the heaviest signal, just preceding the top over here, and then just before we reach a bottom, we get the green stripe signal. And of course, you can bring this down to shorter time frames. This is a 1-hour candlestick chart. We don't always have those beautiful vertical lines. Sometimes it's just one or the other. Speculators or commercials, we can call them that, are producing those signals. But I think it clearly shows the way the AfterSignal filters out signals, when to enter the market, when to enter on each side, and of course helps you exit as well. And just to give you a shorter time frame, here's a 2-minute candlestick chart for crude oil just at the end of trading hours on Friday. So it's a very unique indicator, and when things aren't that necessarily clear from the COT report, I think it's good to switch over and give it a try. Moving on to our next market, the Japanese yen, 32% change over there in commercials net positions. If we switch to a 1-year chart, of course, everything becomes more visible. So it is a bearish change signal, surprisingly, when the market is actually headed lower. If we switch to the 5-year chart, then actually you see there's more significance in the fact that actually we are at a bullish COT extreme at these low price levels. So we should expect the Japanese yen in the medium to long term to gain a bit against the US dollar. Of course, futures that you see here are measured in US dollars. Heating oil, another energy market for the review, 26% change, but in this case, this is more of a buy change signal. Yes, it is, and you can see the market reacting towards this signal. It's greater than average, no question about it, and it is, of course, something that could push on an early part of next week. 5 years chart, you can see that we are, if you look at a 2.5, 3 years time horizon, definitely leaning towards the bullish side. If you look at this 5 years chart, we have seen much greater bullish extremes. So that's something we should keep in mind. It means heating oil could easily continue its downward movement, and we would see much greater bullish extremes, possibly commercials back to net long territory, which was the case for a short period of time on this 5 years chart, as you can see. Large speculators COT extreme analysis. I know I've been looking at COT index in the past couple weeks now. However, the COT index is really going to be there, and we're just going to be looking at the same exact markets week over week. So I thought I'll just switch over to our classic, or the way we used to analyze COT extreme by just using the COT extreme itself, which shows how many reports ago did we have a similar extreme in the market. So large speculators, 364 report extreme, the same exact extreme in commercials, very large. It is bullish, of course. We are expecting the Canadian dollar to start gaining again. Now, of course, we have witnessed the Bank of Canada lower its rates, so that could put pressure on the Canadian dollar. Nevertheless, the report is there, and it's a stress level we should definitely take into consideration. Maybe it's not going to affect the Canadian dollar in the near term. It could be another couple more weeks, month, but it's there, and I think it's important to note. The next market is the Swiss franc, 301 report extreme. In large speculators, it's a bullish extreme. However, in the past few weeks, you have actually seen the Swiss franc rise. So we may witness in a couple weeks time, looking back, that this was actually a very good bottom, but that's how COT analysis works. It's usually confirmed after a couple more weeks. So it's really a good, the way I look at it, as stress analysis, like let's say an RSI, relative strength index, but of course that's derived from price, where this is actually unique fundamental data. It's the breakdown of open interest into these main trader categories. That gives COT analysis the huge advantage over just technical analysis. So last market for the review actually is sugar, with the 234 report extreme, and large speculators net short. Just look at this chart, how many times that was the case. So it is quite unique. It is a significant bullish COT extreme. However, on this 5 years chart, you can see that there is some space left for traders to reach even greater extremes. I think that's important to note. It's also important to note that small speculators are pessimistic, which I believe is a good bullish sign as well. So exciting times coming in sugar for sure. Now, of course, you may look at this review. It's very short and brief, and that is the purpose. We just kind of want to give you a glimpse in. And of course, if you are interested and you want to dive into COT analysis, we do ask you to come and check us out at COTBASE.com. We do have a free version, of course, with limited history of data. But if you become a premium member, then you get the access to the website. Or if you want to be a more sophisticated, or you're looking for a more sophisticated way of analyzing, then of course you can become a pro and access our data and maybe use the indicator in NinjaTrader as well. And then we have, of course, the iCOT Intraday Indicator, which I just mentioned to you, bringing you a different type of analysis, but the concept is the same. We do analyze stresses in the market with that indicator. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath the video or send us an email to info@cotbase.com. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next time.